Hi, hi everyone. Welcome back to TVI Podcast. Episodes, I don't even know what number it is, mate. I'm fucking knackered.
Isn't it 237 maybe?
Yeah, it might be actually. Yeah, probably 237.
We're just going to talk about how late it is.
Mate, it's so late. It's late
it's
enough.
Fucking, I think it's the latest it's ever been.
Well, especially considering it's a Sunday. Well, so it's not even that, it's Monday. It's 5 past midnight.
I mean, it literally is the latest it's ever been, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like in the whole of time.
Yeah, you're right, actually. When you say it like that, yeah.
I mean, that was deep, man.
Yeah, it's late
We've
enough.
Never been in this time before.
We shouldn't be doing a podcast. We should be just fucking knocking one out and watching each other.
This is prime time, man. This is finger in the arse trans porn time. This is, I'm not gay, it's just, I don't know why I watch it.
It's just late.
I'm not gay, the moon's out.
Oh, man. Yeah, I feel like it's going to be delirious.
Not that watching trans porn's gay, I was just alluding to gay porn, two different genres.
Yeah, two of your favourite genres. The reason it's late is we tried to record one earlier on. We've had this has been a week of tech issues. We've got an episode that we recorded with Dan Tiernan last week. Currently, we've got some issues with the files we're trying to get sorted. So that should hopefully be out soon.
Sorry,
but then
guys.
we tried to do one earlier on today, and it wasn't even my Wi-Fi. I thought it was my Wi-Fi playing up. It turns out it was my laptop. So it was my wife giving me back in jip, mate. You know what I mean? It was
was it your laptop, was it?
Turns out it was my laptop, man. So, because when we hung up, we tried for 15 minutes and it was all just shit. And I was doing
that trans porn, clogging it up.
But do you know what it is? Like, basically, it was such a simple fix. Like, I was doing speed tests and my internet was showing up as literally non-existent. I was like, well, there it is. It's an internet problem. But after we hung up, I was like, I checked the speed test on my phone and it told me it was like really fast and good. And I was like, hang on, I got Hannah to check and it was all fine. It turns out, like, I Googled it and sometimes apparently your laptop can just have a bit of a funny turn where it's not picking up the Wi-Fi properly. So I restarted my laptop and it was fine. So we could have just done that, but it was too late.
But we thought we'd do one at 3 a.m. instead.
I got in. Oh man, I did it. I don't normally gig on Sundays. I did a gig tonight, and it just made me realise why I don't gig on Sundays. I fucking couldn't be arsed, man. Got to the gig and I was like, this ain't. What am I doing here?
Just can't be arsed on stage.
Oh, mate, yeah, the first 10
People
I was hosting.
People are paying to watch.
First 10 minutes of me hosting, man, was not good enough. It was unacceptable.
It was not good enough for the money.
Do you know when I don't know.
Not providing the service that they booked.
I don't know if you ever do it, man. Like, I suppose because, I think... Do you ever do a gig where just you feel like the first 5 minutes or so you just have not turned up yet? It's like you haven't warmed up or something, and you're just on stage, you're just going through the motions, and in your head you're thinking, this is me. I'm doing this. This ain't a gig. This ain't a crowd. This is all me.
Oh, I do have I have moments like that, but I always try and like pull my. It's when you're comparing, it's different though, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can ruin the whole night.
Yeah.
It's not just your bit. I'm going to ruin it for every other act.
Do you think there's less pressure to be funny at comparing, or?
I fucking did tonight.
You don't seem like there's any pressure on you. No, it's good. You're just free. Not even funny.
Yeah, it's amazing up there. You just talk without any point or comedy or nothing, man. You just fill time.
Nothing funny. It's really admirable.
It's almost like you're just sort of like, you're like a YouTube advert. It just comes on.
You just come there to collect money.
Everyone can just switch off for a bit when you're on.
You're like a streamer.
But yeah, it was. I just felt like, in my defence, the audience were cold at the top, and it was a perfect storm of them being a bit cold and me being shit.
I wonder if if they're saying it was the perfect storm, we were cold, or they're just saying one side of it.
Yeah,
I wonder which side that they'd voice.
But it was fine after that. The rest of the gig was fine. It was just that first bit. I just felt like I was in first gear, and I was just trying to chat to him, and I should have just gone into some stuff when I realised I didn't want to be talked to, and I wasn't in the right frame of mind.
They just weren't giving you anything, kind of.
Not really. Like, I was just chatting to them, and then they're just
self-conscious, aren't they?
They were self-conscious. Yeah.
Quiet Sunday gig.
I know, and I just went in a bit too just for a chat, and they didn't want it. But instead of just being like, normally my senses are good enough that within about a minute I'm like, okay, these lot are a bit shy and retiring. I'll just go into some stuff and warm them up. But I think I was just that thing. I was a bit off pace, so I just chatted to them for like 7 minutes, man. I was trying to chat to different people, and it was just inane conversation. And then finally,
it's quite one of the posh gigs, is it? Like,
no, it wasn't that posh at all. It was just a hipster sort of East London gig, and yeah. It was fine. Once I actually just did some stuff and chatted to them, they were all right, and they reacted a good show, so it was fine. But I just remember just being about 7 minutes in and thinking, I'd quite happily just fuck off now. Just go home. And I think they'd probably
trying to make friends. No one wants to talk to you.
I mean, if
you're
I
like the Wicker Man.
Yeah. It'd be one of the gigs, I reckon, if you'd have just stopped and gone, look, can I go? They'd have probably gone, yeah, all right.
I'm going to hand in my resignation. Do I have to give a notice?
I'm going to give my 1 second's notice. I'm out of here. Oh, man. It's just Sunday, yeah. But I very, very, very rarely gig on Sundays. And
I don't mind. I suppose Sunday gigs for me are like Top Secret, which is always nice. And
yeah, you're right.
I did a gig for Wilson Milton the other day.
Top Secret never feels like a Sunday though. Even like a Monday at Top Secret or Wednesday at Top Secret still feels like a Saturday at most other clubs.
Yeah,
it's different. Some gigs feel like a Sunday, man. And
I've got to do Download Festival on Thursday. What's that like? You've done it before, have you?
I've never done it. It's the one festival I've never done.
Ah.
Have you heard Jack Skipper? Jack Skipper's got a very funny story about doing Download last year.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's a death story. It's a great story. But I
might have one next podcast.
Tune in next week, everybody. Somebody he was just dying. He said he couldn't. He was just absolutely just fucking eating shit. And then just at one point, somebody threw a mousetrap at him.
Fucking hell.
Oh man, that's a real killer when you're
dying.
Who has
a mousetrap?
I know. Yeah. It's fucked. But
we'll see. It's an early afternoon, but there's loads of acts on, so it's fine, man. Let's all fucking die. It's the worst if I'm the only one.
Well, yeah, that exactly. I think that would be. I think it'll be fine. You know what I mean? I think it depends on time of day and all sorts of stuff, doesn't it? It's
yeah.
All right, we've got loads of questions we should probably get through. So you weren't gigging today. You weren't doing anything.
No. I went golf. Well,
I saw a thing on your
ever.
Instagram. I saw. Yeah, you went to a driving range.
Yeah, just down in North Greenwich. It's quite a new. I've done the crazy golf there a couple of times.
That's near where my gig was. My gig was literally over from North Greenwich, over the
the other side of the water.
Yeah.
But the driving range, like I think I could get the hang of it.
Right.
I didn't get that. I haven't yet, though.
No. I mean, I watched the video.
I sailed a couple of balls. I sailed a couple of balls far, though, man. Like I did all right. The guy next to me was, with his own clubs, like fucking sailing the balls, man.
Yeah.
But it was it's quite satisfying, isn't it, when you hit it?
Yeah, it's amazing. There's no feeling like it, man. When you absolutely
the first time I hit the floor, man, it was But
that's what happens. I mean, it's really frustrating. I remember, who was it? Was it Ivo Graham? I remember in Melbourne one year, me and Dan Connell went for a round of golf, and we took Ivo Graham and Phil Wang, and neither of them had ever swung a golf club before. And I think it was maybe Phil.
It's actually quite a working class sport, really, isn't it? But
Well, it's a weird one because it sort of is and it isn't. Like certain
working class with money sport.
Well, I mean, it used to be way cheaper than that. Like when I started playing when I was a kid, I used to play with my dad's mate who was a barman, an Irish barman called Luke, and he used to just take me and like it was cheap as anything.
Take you to the woods.
And but it was he was a proper working class.
We don't
Irish
have to suck anyone off at that place in Greenwich, though.
Things have changed now; they've sort of phased that out.
Yeah, it's different.
It's a shame.
It's more
actually.
expensive, and you don't get bummed.
You've got to pay for the round now, rather than just fucking wank someone off. But he was like that was a working class. He was a working class bloke, and I was a working class kid. Like, and it didn't feel like. I never felt like it was a posh thing. I felt like that was normal. Yeah,
because I've always thought of it as kind of posh, but it's not. Everyone I know plays it is very working class. You know what I mean? Like into their sport.
Yeah. I do think there is a posh element to it. You know, the big swanky clubs and that are super expensive, and there's an elitist element of it at the top clubs. You know, the amount of money you've got to pay to be a member and. You know, all that side of it, but actually...
there's a lot of money in it, definitely. Yeah,
but like, you know, in certain countries, like Ireland and that, it's just, loads of people just play and there's loads of courses and it's pretty cheap. Like, I think it's different in different areas.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it though, man.
It's good. If you like it, we'll go for a round I'd say driving range is a good starting point. Stick with that for a while. Because there's nothing more frustrating than trying to do a round of golf when you're still just hitting the ground and just scuffing it every shot, like because you literally takes ages.
Can you hit it okay now? You've played for a while, have you?
Yeah. You still have the odd duff shot, but like it's all about consistency as well. Like you know, you get to once you're at a decent level, you can go around in decent time and all that, but you'll have a few.
What I was doing, we only had an hour and we got a coffee and that or whatever, but like. What I was doing like 5 each, so I was doing 5 in a row. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Was it
the first one? I hit the floor and I screamed "cunt," and Ren went "shut up."
Oh man!
You can't scream that. I didn't mean to. It just came out my mouth.
Did your range have the thing where it charts the ball path and shows you on a screen?
Yeah, like all computer. I didn't know until the end. I started to look at that. I didn't even see it.
It's good for like checking. You know, if you can click what club you're using, and it tells you a range, and you work out how far you can hit it with a certain club, and that it's good.
Oh, that's good. I was just using an iron, it's got a bit of a tilt to it.
Yeah.
Is that an iron?
Yeah. I mean, and it's better. It's
better to begin on that, isn't it?
Begin on a nice short iron because they're sort of lofted. You know, they're shorter clubs as well, so they're a bit easier to swing. Once you get to a driver's long, man, you've got quite a wide range of motion.
It's got a big club on the end, a driver, is it? A big fat flat bit.
Obviously, the margin of error is much bigger because it's a bigger club, longer shaft.
Yeah. Reminds me of me.
Reminds me of my dad's friend Luke, who taught me golf. But yeah, it's I love it, man. But I just haven't had a chance to play. I haven't played for ages, like for about 3 months.
You play quite a bit then, yeah. Sometimes
I used to play a lot. Yeah.
I've never played in my whole life.
But most people haven't, and I do think it's one of them ones where it puts a lot of people off because the first couple of times you play, you are so shit, and like it's so frustrating. That some people never get over that. You've got to get over that to get to the next bit where you start being all right. And then if you want to get good, you've got to play all the time. Like no one I know who's good doesn't play at least once a week.
I'll tell you who's really good. Who used to be have a 0 handicap. Well, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was Dave Ward?
Was he?
Yeah, 0. He was a pro basically.
Well, really? He's interesting.
He's a dark horse, Dave, isn't
he? Yeah.
He's got interesting past.
Yeah. All right, let's do some questions. See what happens happening on the group. Well, this is a long one from Joe. I'll just read it. I've not vetted it. I don't know where this is going to go. My fiance's niece and nephew regularly come to stay with us. The boy is 13, the girl's 11. Girl's constantly gaslighting and borderline bullying the boy, who will eventually react and get in trouble if he says anything back. The girl plays the young blonde girl very well and always gets away with it. The boy, as a result, really lacks in confidence and opts out of any group games. Is it acceptable for me, a 32-year-old man, to hold an internal grudge against an 11-year-old girl?
It's acceptable. You got to watch how you behave on it, though.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't be like snapping and lowering yourself to 11-year-old level.
No, exactly. It's hard
as well. I've had kids get on my nerves a little bit before, though. My niece and stuff.
Yeah, you can't react like an adult to them. You know what I mean? They're kids. You've always got to slightly meet them at their level, haven't you? Otherwise, you have
to, but you can fucking resent them all you want inside.
Exactly. You can hold as many grudges as you want. There's nothing wrong with that. But she's
obviously a very skillful girl. It's like, not to be sexist, but girls know how to kind of get men around their little finger from,
and also she's 13 and the boys are 11.
They want something from their dad.
Yeah.
And
but
so they kind of
maturity,
the emotional
of brain power of a 13-year-old girl to an 11-year-old boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 11-year-old boys are divs, man. Like,
yeah.
And like 13-year-old girls are quite calculated and quite clever. And not on the whole, I mean, I'm talking generalizations, but I would say, it's hard.
The boy will learn, though. It's a lesson for him, isn't it?
Yeah. It's hard because you can't really intervene. If you're not the parents, you can't intervene.
Yeah.
I think. You know what I mean? You can't take her to the side and have a word with her, and she'll just be like, "Who the fuck are you? You ain't my dad." You know what I mean? That's exactly what a 13-year-old girl...
telling everyone you nonster. She's just a skillful manipulator, pure Machiavellian. Just take you down.
Yeah, you're literally in the gutter.
She'll look you in the eye, say, "I'll take your fucking reputation within 4 minutes on Twitter."
Well, that's it. So yeah, I think you've got to just basically hold the grudge. Maybe you can always talk to the parents. You can talk to them and say, "Look, I know that thing that happened there. I actually saw the precursor to it, and actually
they're probably scared of her."
Yeah, exactly. She's got dirt on every one of them. Yeah, I think you
can just release the files on her parents with one hit of the button. She's got Childline on speed dial.
I used to threaten. I think I used to threaten Childline to my parents.
I rang Childline once, actually, just for, like wind ups.
Oh right, not to actually make a complaint against anyone.
Not really. I don't know. I can't remember. I know that I rang them. I mean, I can't actually remember properly. I know the phone box is not far from here.
Yeah.
I was with a couple of mates, but it definitely turned into a joke.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but it might not. I don't know. I can't remember. Literally can't remember whether it was serious or I was joking. Can't remember whether I was reporting someone or doing a prank call.
Here we go. We've got a question from Sharpie. It says, if scientific research proved that vaping turns you into a paedophile, would you stop vaping?
No, but I know what I'd have to start doing.
I mean, obviously that's...
I wouldn't stop anything. No, I'd just be curious to see what it feels like. How's that?
What do you mean?
No. Just was it gradual? Like, what slowly? How long would it take?
Oh, yeah.
And, like, if they said in, 5 or 10 years you'll be a full pedo, I'd be like, I dip my toe in just to see what it feels like and then like back out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what they all say, mate. That's what every paedophile who's ever lived said about looking at child pornography. Yeah, I just wanted to just dip my toe in to see if, just to prove I wasn't into it. And the next thing you know, mate,
it's just for research.
Exactly. Next thing you know, there's photos of their hard drive being taken out by police in hazmat suits. Just in Ziploc,
a million
bags.
Images on your hard
laptop
drive
in one of them fucking sandwich bags. You're like, oh man,
holding it with fucking forceps. my phone in hot forceps, steaming phone, like Ghostbusters.
Oh god.
Release the hard drive. And all the images just fly around the streets in the sewers. Slimer, little bald Willy.
Oh shit, man.
Yeah, obviously I'd stop vaping.
Okay, now we cleared that up. We got to the bottom of it. Here we go. Martin says, one of you becomes rich and famous, like really, really can't walk down the street famous. Could you hack it? And would you still talk to each other?
Can't walk down the street, cripple. Not really. Would he what?
I suppose he's saying, I don't know, if one of us got super famous, could you hack it? I suppose, is he asking if the other one could hack it? Would you still talk to each other? I suppose he's saying, like, if one of us got super famous. I did a bit about that on stage the other night, about how, like, comedy is different to any other job. When some comedians get bitter because it's not like other jobs where, like, if you're a mechanic and a mechanic mate you started out with, like, there's no chance that
it's not going to be in a film next year, is it?
That's what the punchline was. Like,
it's not going to be on the side of a bus.
Yeah, not going to end up in a Hollywood film. So, like, you know what I mean? You can't. The level of comparison is way different to any other job. But, like, I don't think, you know, if one of us suddenly got some big role in something and became super famous, I don't think it wouldn't change anything. I don't know. I wouldn't change.
I wouldn't change.
Absolutely delete your number and block.
Yeah. I wouldn't change. My friends would.
Yeah, exactly.
They're changing to different people.
Changing to really rich, successful people.
My friends' names would change to new people.
No, I'd have to
say I'd have a very similar life to what I've got. It's you know, more like, you know, I'll probably be in fucking Bora Bora on a whim sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Private jet to record the pod in Tulse Hill.
Just flying in. I don't think, you know, we've got friends who are super famous and they're not, you know, they're pretty normal. They haven't changed much since they got famous.
Yeah. I wouldn't know. They don't return my calls.
Like, I'm trying to think. I can't think of anyone who got super famous and became an absolute.
Well, like Ramesh, I guess. I used to know Ramesh really well, and he's he's super famous.
He's so famous
in England.
Yeah. But like, it's that thing. But you know, them like you don't see people as often because they're literally touring the world. But I
remember seeing Jack Whitehall again after years, and like this was when he was a Hollywood star.
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, Julian, all right, man." It did feel. I never knew him that well, but I knew it. I knew him. But it feels a bit weird, doesn't it?
It does feel, but that's because they're super famous. But like, actually, most of these people, like when you just meet
them,
does
he think I'm a loser? You know what I mean?
But they don't. No, mate, I remember doing it. I did a new material gig with Jack a couple of years ago, and like he was just normal backstage. He's just normal. Do you know what I mean? It's just,
but even
because he was a comic and he started out in the same sort of gigs, and I think
he was always a really nice guy. Yeah,
I think that's one thing about stand up. People who come through and do stand up from day one and come through clubs and open spots and all that, I don't think you ever forget it. So if you've got famous and done that, and then you're back in a dressing room, I think people tend to be the same person. Like they just almost revert back to being that person they were when they were an open spot, and they. I think they feel it
more though. Like they feel it more, especially if they're on the circuit like Flanagan for years.
Yeah.
You know, he built a lot of relationships, didn't he? A lot of close kind of camaraderie, and then suddenly he's, you know, selling out the O2 for a week. And then he'll go and do new material in his old people he used to work with. You know, I think that he felt it. I heard that he did.
Yeah.
He went to like people are behaving differently with him, like his old mates and that.
Oh, really?
Probably jealousy and stuff.
Yeah. I suppose, some people, but some comics are jealous people, aren't they? There are some comics, we know enough of them, who.
Well, like there's got to be a high like narcissist percentage in comedy in there, and like just totally self-obsessed.
Well, yeah, and like people that see one thing from day one you could see it. There are some comedians that think whenever another comedian gets something, be it telly,
they're
whatever,
taking it from them.
They think they're taking it from, and they don't realise that actually, ultimately, that person probably was going to get it anyway. That was the choice. That was the sort of,
Yeah, they've worked hard. They had a vision. That's what they wanted, and they, no one got there without focusing and getting their fucking head down, wanting it more than anything.
And often the most bitter people are ones that absolutely weren't in the running for that thing as well. Do you know what I mean?
And they're shit, yeah.
The most bitter people are the shittest cunts. Let's see what's going down here. This one, I tried to read this question just a second ago, and I just can't make head nor tail of it. If there was one law for the entire country that is illegal that could make legal, what the hell are you talking about?
What law would we make legal if we could?
If there was one law for the entire country that is currently illegal that would make you could which stuff what that is currently illegal? There's a lot of spelling mistakes in this one. Sorry, but
I'd make it illegal for you to fucking type.
It should be illegal for me to read at 12:30 at night. So yeah, what law currently, like something that's illegal, would you make legal, and vice versa? Something that's legal that you'd make illegal. So what would I make legal?
I think when someone robs your time, like they tell this long-winded shit. Like, have you ever got to a gig and someone's there telling you the history of the building or something? When there's a time and a place. And it's like, it was so funny. Me and Sean were doing, like, I forget where we were, like north, like, I don't know, like about 3 hours north of London.
Yeah.
And a guy there, and he started to talk to me and Sean about the building and stuff. And I was like, fucking hell, like, you've got to get your head together for this big gig.
Yeah.
And Sean went, I've just got to write some new stuff, and locked himself in the dressing room.
Oh, man.
And I'm standing there, and I went, I'll come in and help you. And I went in there, I said, and he weren't writing anything.
Yeah,
it was like, we were just locked in this cupboard together to get away. I think it should be illegal for people. People should ask your permission if they're going to talk for fucking 23 minutes.
Yes. Yeah. Or there should be like every 5 minutes you get a sort of like are they allowed to carry on? It's almost like sort of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you made the cut.
The police
for the
come
next
over
5
and
minutes.
check if everything's all right.
Yeah.
Is all right? Do you consent in this conversation?
Something that's illegal that I'd make legal. I don't really know. What is it? What stuff's illegal that aren't drugs and theft?
I think parking. I'd make parking a bit easier.
Just free. Do you reckon it should be free to park anywhere?
I mean, then you wouldn't find they do it for a reason. But it's so.
Yeah.
I think maybe pharmaceutical companies should be a bit more transparent, bring their prices down on stuff.
I would say speed limits. I would say speed limits on motorways. I think there should be stretches of the motorway you can go over 70 miles an hour. Do you know what I mean?
80. I think 80 is a nice speed.
Do you know what I mean? Like, like the Autobahn in Germany where you can just fucking rip it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I do think there's something to be said for trusting people. Flip side, I think people that go too slow on the motorway need to fuck off as well.
Slow drivers are the worst. Not even on the motorway, because on the motorway, at least they're doing like 65. But sometimes when people are so slow at pulling out and I'm behind them,
oh man,
and they're dithering around, and
mate,
like
I did a gig in Sevenoaks on Wednesday, and like I hit some of the worst traffic trying to get from me to Sevenoaks. From me, I had to go through Streatham. And then sort of over, like, traverse sort of southeast London to Sevenoaks. And it took me half an hour to get to the other side of Streatham, which is like 2.5 miles. The traffic was so bad. So my sat-nav, I lost all the time I had grace before the gig. The gig started at 8:15, I think it was. And my sat-nav said, by the time I got through the traffic, it said I was going to be there at 8:17. So I was going to be late to the gig. And I called up and was like, look, I reckon I'll be there right at the start of the show. But just so you know, like, it's going to be tight. And then everything was going my way, all the lights. And I got to this one bit where for about 2 miles, man, on like a fucking road, I got stuck behind somebody who, I swear to God, it was a 30-mile-an-hour road. They were doing 16 miles an hour. And
that should be illegal.
I'm a calm person because I was running late. Like, I was losing my mind in the car. Like, I almost turned into that person, like, you know, when you're beeping the horn behind somebody and you're like, you know, that you lose your shit. I couldn't believe it. 16 miles an hour, not even in a 20-mile-an-hour zone, in a 30-mile-an-hour zone. It's just unacceptable.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's stressful even thinking about it.
I do find that dawdling. Then people
I was a bit of a dick the other day, though.
God.
Because Blackwall Tunnel's closed, so we had to go through Rotherhithe Tunnel, and it was fucking chock-a-block, like 2 hours, you know, through London kind of thing. And Rotherhithe Tunnel, like about 200 metres from it, but it's gridlocked. But I'm in the lane that the cars behind me want to turn right.
Yeah.
But I'm going straight over, but I didn't know. So I'm sitting there in my car. I'm on the phone, like on the car phone, and some guy got out of his car and tapped on my window. And he was like, you could tell he got out angry, but then when I undone the window, I was just like oblivious.
Right.
It calmed him down that I didn't care, that he was angry. He didn't get any reaction from me.
Yeah, I suppose if you'd have clearly been an arsehole who'd done it on purpose, he was ready for a ding dong, innit? The fact that you're just the most oblivious. I just kind of
diffused it by accident, really. I just went to him, I thought this was straight. He went, no, you do a left. He went, and then he's trying to help me out, like, but he came over all angry.
Getting out the car, man. That is when your head's
banging on my window.
Getting out the car is next level, man.
I know, yeah. Fucking hell, that's a bold move, man. It's lucky I didn't get up, mate. He'd have been wanked off.
Here we go. Tim says, I think I've heard podcasters stumble across a premise for stand-up material while recording or try out a bit with other comedians on podcasts. Have you ever realised something would make for stand-up jokes, bits whilst recording? I've definitely had some that have been things that have happened to me, stories that I've told for the first time on here because they've been like happened the day before and they've ended up being stand-up material. But but it's very rare that I'll say something. You know, normally it's a story because I do stories on stage. It's quite an easy place to start telling it on here. But yeah,
I've had things that have stuck in my head a little bit. I don't know if I've ever got anything though.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd like to. I think I might have done. I might have tried something.
Right. You try material, but, on me.
No, not tried on the podcast. Like from the podcast, got an idea. Do you know what I mean?
Have you ever had that? A fucking.
You just try material in a conversation with you.
Mate, I've had it backstage with like, or just. I remember in Edinburgh. I'm not going to say his name, man, but I remember one time, like, I was actually living with this person in Edinburgh. Like, it was like one of my first ever times at the Fringe, and this person was three of us were sharing a place, and there was a spare room. This guy jumped in, and after about 3 or 4 days, I just realised that over breakfast, I'd be sitting at a breakfast table hanging out my arse, man. It was like I was my first ever Fringe. It was 2006. I was a new act, and I was a pisshead. So like I was just hanging out my arse at a breakfast table, eating fucking cornflakes, whatever. And this guy just kept trying bits out, but he didn't say, I've got this idea for a bit. He'd just go into a bit of stand-up while chatting to me over breakfast. And every day I'd be getting more and more frustrated with it. Like I'd literally be sitting there, just with my head in my hands, hardly reacting. And after about 4 or 5 days, he sort of stopped the conversation mid-sentence, and he was just doing a bit. And he went, mate, look, just so you know, that I know you don't like me, yeah, but we're living together, so we've got to try and make it sort of civil. and I was saying to him, mate, I said I do like you, but what I don't like is the fact that I'm literally sitting here eating my fucking cornflakes, and you're trying out a bit of material on me. And I just had to sort of just fully just call him on it.
So funny.
And we cleared the air, and we were fine after that. But
and then you used all the bits in your show.
But like, I just found it so annoying. Just don't. If you want to ask me if I think like most mates, if they got an idea, will be like, "Oh, is this funny?" And they'll ask you and tell you. You don't just do it as if it's a conversation when you're secretly workshopping.
I know, it's stupid, man. I've had that, things like that.
Yeah, I hated it so much. Have you ever lived? Yeah, how many? Because you only done Edinburgh a couple of times. Did you ever live with anyone that was like a bit of an egg? You don't have to say any names.
Well, I've done it. Well, I've been on the run 4 times. 2 of them was a compilation, so I've lived the whole run 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone was just a bit frush, like just a little bit eggy once.
Yeah.
I just didn't really warm to him.
Right.
There were a few of us, and
I really want to know. I'll tell you who mine is after.
But the
once we get over the 40-minute mark.
I mean, you know what? If I see him now, like we're getting on, but yeah. I always remember, like he had a bit of a humour lobotomy. Like we'd all be having a laugh, and he'd just be sitting there looking at me. Everyone would be laughing. And stuff.
Yeah.
I actually got a joke out of one of our laughs once. That you know, the dyslexic joke. I don't know if you remember it. I got that out of this, like we were having a laugh about something.
Yeah.
And I said, it's a bit like dyslexia or something. But, and he would just be sitting there scowling.
So weird.
Me. I've had that before, actually, yeah.
Oh, man.
Where you're making 2 people laugh and the third one's just not liking you. All I'm doing is we're just having fun. What's this problem?
Oh man!
And then at the end of the run, he texted me and said, "Oh, you were so funny the whole run. I really enjoyed the." But I just didn't really. I don't know.
Yeah. So
it was I don't think I misread it.
I've had. I reckon because I always used to live with the same people. So like Chris Martin, Benny Boot, Jimmy McGee, John Hastings were always like they were the ones that always were the gang, like on and off. But there was a couple of years I had to live with other people, and they were fucking not, just different vibes, man. Even though, like,
when you're used to your own group as well.
Well, it's also you've got certain mates in comedy that are like, you'd be mates with outside of comedy, and you know that there's a shorthand where not to talk about, not to moan, not to talk about reviews, all the stuff that you don't do when you're in Edinburgh. And there's other comedians that just can't not do that. So if you live with them, fuck me, man, it just eats you up. Because all they ever do is talk about Edinburgh. And it's like, I'm fucking living here. I'm doing my show. I don't need to talk about it 24 hours a day. So, yeah.
When I lived with Math Brown, that was nice. It was just me and him. And, like, it was nice, man.
Yeah.
He's a good egg.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I lived on my own for 1 year. And that was sort of good, but I also went a bit mental. You know what I mean? It ended up. I lived
with Sean James 1 year. He was nice guy.
Sean was that first year when I said that. So me and Sean and Chris Martin were living together. The year we had the 4th member who was the fucking breakfast workshopper. But Sean, that was Sean. Yeah, me, Sean, and Chris as well, as plus this other person.
Jeff Leach. He was all right to live with.
You do with Jeff Leach?
Yeah, me, him, and Sean and. The Greek guy like Manos or something. He had a show that year.
Not
2010.
Manolis Santanos. No.
I don't know if it was him.
There was a guy I once met on the open mic circuit. It was like his name was like Manolis something. He was a fucking weird guy.
This guy was all right, yeah. He was just Greek, which is weird.
Was it Yanni?
Might have been Yanni. Might have been.
Was it Yanni
It could have been. It could have been.
Well, I reckon.
Oh, not him. No, he's Aussie, isn't he?
He's an Aussie Greek guy. Yeah.
No, this guy was a Greek guy.
Oh.
I remember Yanni. Yeah, I gigged with him years ago.
Guess who was the breakfast workshopper, mate? Fucking.
Oh, oh really?
Yeah, man. think I know where I'll be
I
snipping
did-
this to go onto the Patreon section. I can't be digging him out, man.
All right. Let's just take that name out.
No, that's where it'll have moved on to patrons. So patrons will.
Oh,
hear that.
okay. Yeah.
Everyone else, you will not have heard.
I
the
remember him because he was kind of.
I wonder what he does now.
but he was kind of mirth control headlining kind of thing when I started. I think.
But he was a nice guy.
Yeah,
but like he was always on, and like I remember like having to literally tell him to stop being like that at a breakfast table. Like in the flat, I was like, this flat is a hub away from the festival. When you're out there, you're a comedian. When you're in here, just be normal. And be fucking.
His bits weren't working on you. I know you don't like me.
When he said that, man, that's harsh when somebody says that to you. Especially
that's such a dumb thing to say, but we
got
got
to
get
on. It's not
on.
true. It's like, no, it's not. I don't like you. I don't like the thing you're doing when I'm having my Cocoa Pops. Do you know what I mean?
That's so funny.
You're ruining my breakfast.
What year was that? 2010?
2006. It was me and Sean James and Chris Martin did a 3-hander on the Free Fringe. And
I went up there for one night that year, actually. I did So You Think You're Funny.
Oh, of course, yeah. But this shows how different the Fringe is now. So we had a flat just down near Tollcross that year, big 4-bedroom flat.
Was that you were doing the compilation with Sean, like
Sean and Chris,
what was it
The Good,
called?
the Bad, and the Cuddly.
That was it, yeah.
And our flat cost us £300 each for the whole month.
Fucking hell.
Mad, isn't it? And the next
Mine
year,
was about 600 or 700, 2010, I think.
Yeah, by 2010 it had gone up to like that sort of amount. And then
it's like
2012,
$3,000.
2013, we were paying like 1,100 a month. In quite a nice flat though, it was quite swanky and very central. And now obviously it's sort of gone a bit silly, isn't it? All right, let's do another question. Here we go. This is from Tim Bob. I have a 10-minute spoken word slot at an event next Saturday. I normally do vaguely poetic stuff with a few jokes thrown in, but I haven't got anything fresh. Have you got any good writing cues or exercises you use? Failing that, got any spare material I can nick?
Don't know, mate. You got cash. Not really.
I suppose I don't know. I'm not the best person to ask about that because I can't. I'm not one of these people that can sit and just turn on the writing. I write. I mean, I suppose one tip I would say is I always write on the go. Like if I've got ideas, I'll just go for a big walk and I'll just think them through while I walk. I can't sit at a desk and just write. I need stimulation in my brain, but out and about. Like I can't. I just need to just be on the move.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Walk around. It's a hard one, though. But if it's just spoken word, it's not like it's stand-up, is it? There's no pressure
on it in terms of, stand-up.
Little things. Anything could get a laugh, can't it, if you put a little bit of humour into it?
Yeah.
It's not like you're under pressure to do a funny 20-minute set.
No.
You've got to focus on getting the information over, and then
a
little bit, any kind of little hacky humour things work well in those things, I think.
Well, that's it. Yeah,
it's like the funny teacher, isn't it?
Hold on a sec. This door just opened. Look,
it's
how
just
creepy
a ghost.
Look at this. Look, this door just opened. Totally just opened on its own. How fucking creepy is that?
Fucking hell, man.
Rascal.
That's either from someone from the underworld or just the wind.
We just shut it.
Cole comes back dead. Comes back with your throat cut. Come back with a different face.
I couldn't hear anything. What was that?
I was just saying that you come back with your throat cut.
Just come back in like...
white as a sheet and just blood comes down from your eyes.
There and you didn't hear anything and suddenly just someone else sat down. Fuck.
And then I shut my laptop and they were behind my laptop.
They were just there, just...
Some little girl in a white dress with long hair and her face.
Fuck that, mate. I remember. Have you ever
Verity
seen
used to do that. She'd sometimes stand at the end of my bed, and I'd wake up.
Oh man,
she's always a bit quirky, Verity.
Yeah.
Just different. Like she never spoke to a teacher or anything in school, but she just used to just stand at the end of my bed with her pale face and would kick her in the fucking face because I'm scared. The fuck you doing, man? Shitting me up.
Have you ever seen the film?
To fuck your mum.
Have you seen The Ring? The film, The Ring.
Yeah. I saw it. The Japanese one.
Yeah.
Is it Japanese?
Well, the original one was it Japanese? Yeah, Japanese or Korean, whatever. But
it came on telly and it was
Japanese or Korean or whatever. I mean,
fucking.
Because obviously there's a big wave of Korean horror films as well. I can't remember what horror scene it came from.
Yeah.
But have you seen the American remake?
No, I've not.
So it was. I think the American remake was the first one of those American remakes because they did that because all them cool Asian horror films were getting made, and then they were really successful, like cult films. And then America was like, we need to remake these because Americans are too dumb to have subtitles. So, but The Ring was the first American remake. It had like Sarah Michelle Gellar, I think it was. I went to see it in the cinema, and it's not as good as the original, but fuck man, it's got a couple of bits that are so scary, like proper jump scares. I remember being in the cinema. And there's one bit, man, where the whole cinema just shit their pants, like scream. There's proper screams. And it's amazing being in a cinema with that sort of atmosphere. I remember the other one I went to see was Paranormal Activity in the cinema, packed Friday night cinema. And man, people were losing it. It was so cool.
It's just all suspense with that film, isn't it? It's just I
hate it.
Same here. I don't really...
I enjoy it, but I hate it at the same time. It's sort of the tension is uncomfortable, but at the end of the film, I feel quite sort of like I've had a workout almost because I really get.
Yeah.
Some people don't find horror scary because like I remember like Trevor Crook telling me he just doesn't find horror scary because he's like, well, you always know that there's somebody.
Because he's a psychopath. I find they give me a boner.
But no,
I just get ideas.
Yeah, but because he says like you always know there's somebody holding the camera. It's a film. Like he can't get beyond the imagination of it being a. Whereas I'm the opposite.
I wish I was like that. I'm the opposite. My imagination goes off, man.
Yeah, and that's what I love about it. That's why I enjoy horror films.
Yeah,
I think it's a good thing to be able to just suspend disbelief and really go for it.
I'd never watch a scary film on my own, although. Christmas Eve, I watched Wolf Creek, but that's not really jumpy, and is it?
It's quite sinister. It's not a horror film. It's just a dark thriller, isn't it?
It's a good film. It's not a bad film of that genre.
Right, let's see. There's a couple of other little questions, but let's do one more, and then here we go. Podcast hosts are often the voiceovers for their advertisers. They usually put on a faux tone of sincerity to imbue some kind of positive personal experience with the product they're flogging. With this in mind, can you demonstrate how Carl would advertise a pack of Morrison's value range chicken and Julian advertise a bottle of Bell's whiskey if respective brands were your advertisers? I suppose it's about could you advertise something that you don't agree with or use? Or
what was your product?
My one was chicken. Morrison's value chicken breasts.
I don't not agree with whiskey though.
No, it doesn't agree with you more.
Especially not Bell's whiskey.
Delicious Bell's whiskey, aged in an oak barrel.
Drive home afterwards.
It's fucking gross, Bell's, actually. I remember Bell's is one of the worst whiskies I've ever had.
Why is that still going? It's never got a good rep, has it?
I think it's always been like sort of wino whiskey, innit? Do you know what I mean?
I had to do a talk this morning at 9 a.m. in a meeting about my past experience with alcohol.
And what were you saying?
And my experience with recovery.
Tell some fun stories about getting on it.
Yeah, I did actually, yeah. But you have to say, like, what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now as a kind of journey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was talking about whiskey, Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
I remember being in a club arguing that she wouldn't pour me a pint of Jack Daniels.
Fucking hell.
But we compromised at like a half pint. Put like four, or like it was a bit less than a half pint, but I was so fucked.
Yeah. I was pretty pissed yesterday, actually. I went, I mean, this now makes it sound degenerate, but we had it was Twyla's birthday on Thursday. She turned 4. And then yesterday, so we had a big day out on her birthday. We went to the Tower of London and did loads of nice things. And then yesterday we had like a picnic, like a birthday picnic with some friends in Clapham Common. And
nice.
And I just drank so much beer. I had like 11 beers. And just...
Were you hammered?
I was pretty drunk, but I kept it together. I wasn't like... I don't think I was visibly shit-faced. But like when I was packing up the picnic stuff and then we got a taxi home and like I remember just having a few moments of being like I am pissed, like I'm just about getting away with this. Do you know what I mean? Like I sort of, to my credit, I held it together and got home and sobered up. But like, yeah, I was just sat in a park drinking beers all day. It was lovely. But then I realised, now and again I'd be like, this is my daughter's 4th birthday. As I'm
crying, pulling at your arm.
I'm cracking another can of Estrella. Just like,
asking her to run to the... How fast can she run to the fridge and back? I'll time you. That's fast. You're fast. See if you can beat that.
Yeah. You're only 4
I'm
once.
so fast!
Just constantly... Anyone says anything, that's always your tagline, and they'll be like, why are you at school? You slow down. Fuck, mate, my daughter's only 4 once.
Yeah.
Putting away another can. Fucking, you shut your
She's
fucking
mouth,
mouth,
only 4.5 once.
Yeah. Look, this is my daughter ain't going to be 4 ever again.
Don't take you trying to take that away from me.
And then just hear that can. It'd be funny that just luckily I've never been angry. Like I've always been, and I drink sort of. I go through phases of it now. Like I won't touch it for a couple of weeks. I hadn't had a drink all week until yesterday. Like I've always been a good-natured drinker when I do drink.
Yeah, you did. I've only seen you. Well, I've probably seen like when we were in Margate that time. You were drunk a bit, weren't you? But you didn't. You just seemed a little bit slurry. That was it.
But yeah,
and, you tried wanking me off.
You just felt a little bit handsy.
I mean, you shit your pants. You seemed really normal until you walked away and there was a big shit stain on your pants. And you vomited and collapsed. Apart from that,
just a happy drunk.
Yeah. You were laughing in the ambulance. He's a happy drunk. As you're wrestling the coppers.
But I don't know, like, did you have any mates who were like bad? Just sort of Aggie drunks, man.
Oh my God.
I've got my mate,
I think it might have been me towards the end a little bit.
Fuck, man. Yeah, my mate Daniel he just gets so dark, man. It's like his eyes go naughty and he looks like he's just gonna punch someone in the head at some point. And
that's an alcoholic sign, man, I reckon.
Yeah, he actually doesn't. He hasn't drunk for years now.
That's good.
Probably about 5 years, I think, since he last had a drop.
Apparently, 1 in 10 people, it does that too.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was crack or heroin, it would be 10 out of 10 would get addicted.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But yeah, it's nice. Not good when one of your mates has got that.
They just glaze over.
Well, yeah, because there's different ones. My mate, Richard. We don't call him Richard. We call him by his surname, but his name's Richard. He just goes from he's one of these people that is like middle-aged dad.
I chat to his brother sometimes. Is that the one on Instagram?
That's a different Rich. So and that my mate Rich, whose brother you've chatted to, is he hasn't drunk for a couple of years. Like he's the one who's now sort of lives in a monastery in Wales. He's like a monk. But my other mate Rich is he's one of these people that goes from just sober to drunk in like a heartbeat. Like he'll have 4 pints, just be chatting, having a nice catch up, and then like you'll just turn away from him for about 30 seconds.
And he's grabbing your girlfriend, your wife by the minge.
No.
That's a bit out of the blue. It's literally Jekyll and Hyde. That's where the Jekyll and Hyde story came from. Alcoholism, apparently.
Oh, really? Fuck me, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like, I remember there was one time we all met in a pub in
the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah, he's so nice. I'm actually meeting up with him tomorrow.
Kicks your dog in the face.
but he doesn't get aggressive or anything. He just goes so drunk. Like, he goes from chatty, hey. In 10 minutes later, he's literally, you'll look over and he'll just be like on a chair, just like, whoa.
He said he had half a shandy.
Yeah. But I mean, I remember once
might just have a bad reaction to it, obviously.
But he's like, we met for a few pints in Covent Garden, no, Charing Cross it was, and there was about 7 of us. And we met, and it was like 6 p.m. when everyone finished work. And I swear to God, we'd had 2 pints, and it was just like 6:45. And suddenly, like, we looked over and he was honestly like, I think he'd had 3 pints, and he looked like he'd had 100 pints. He was just fat all fat, and like he turned around. And he went, "Great guys, are we going to a club like that?" And we were like, 45, mate. We haven't even had our dinner yet.
We go, where's the after party? It's daylight.
Oh man, it was so funny. He's what he's.
Maybe
I remember
he's not eaten and stuff as well.
Yeah, he once had what looked like the worst drunk injury I've ever seen, and somehow walked it off. He was
knee bent the wrong way.
Honestly, man, he was at Clapham Common Station. We'd all been in like Bar Soul, whatever it's, Cafe Soul or sort of some bar.
Oh yeah,
and he honestly, top of the stairs. I don't know if you know Clapham Common Station. Like, you come down and the stairs go onto the platform, and the tracks at either side, so it's just one big platform down the middle, like a gangway. And it's got quite a big staircase down to the steps. And I swear to God, like 5 steps in, his feet went from under him, and he went forward, and he didn't even put his arms out, mate. That's how pissed he was. he did the proper Homer Simpson, just head bouncing off every step, like boom, 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 just like doom, 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 all the way. All the way to the bottom of the steps, and then just slid like that onto the platform. Like, it's like literally head hit the bottom, like every step, boom, 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 and he just slid like that onto. So he's face down on the platform, and my mate Rich ran over and grabbed him, picked him up, thinking he was dead, and he honestly just walked it off like nothing happened. Like...
Some people can just take head bangs, can't they?
Yeah, fucked. But
that'd be on like fucking Instagram, million views though, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
like, I love watching shit like that. Like, I've just followed an account, people getting slightly injured, or people being slightly angry. Like, it's just a little bit, because it's so real, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a really funny one on Twitter called "People Selling Mirrors."
I think I've seen some of them.
I can't help fucking looking at them.
Yeah.
Just the way they're selling them, or they're trying to hide and take a picture of it. Just their arms coming out. It's so stupid.
Oh man!
People selling mirrors.
Yeah. All right, we better wrap this up, man. I need to go to bed. It's 1:05.
Yeah, cool, man. Same.
Oh,
I'm gonna crash.
Yeah, mate. So yeah, hopefully we'll get the Dan Tiernan episode out this week if we can get it sorted, get the file sorted. The audio was a bit foot. So,
is there any way of adjusting it if it's on one track? No.
Not really.
You can't really split it after it's just in one. You can't split it to 3.
But you know, we were trying out a new studio. Turns out they send the files, and they only sent it in one track. So I'll play with it, but we'll see what happens.
All right, man. I'll catch you later.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Thank you, everybody.
And,
sorry if we're all tired.
We were tired, but I think we were quite delirious. It's probably quite funny to watch. Just 2 delirious, tired men.
Stifling yawns. All sweaty.
I've got under my breath.
I've got like a layer of sweat over me.
All right, let's do it. Let's speak to everyone next time. Thanks, everyone, for the questions. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
We love you.
And we love you. And